Hi, it's Paula here. Today we're going to talk about mystery bags. So I have put together an exclusive little bag for some of my customers in advance of the new catalogue release, which is coming out this month, April to June. So what I have done is I've gone through the catalogue and found a few of my favourite new tools, and I've popped them together with a whole heap of other little bits and pieces, little surprises for my ladies that chose to trust me with the $55 mystery bag purchase. So included is this whole list of supplies. Now, what I have done is I've taken samples from different stamp sets that are new, and I have created samples from different paper that is there and put it all together. So let's have a look at what the ladies are receiving in their mystery bag. So first off, of course, they are getting the catalogue. The catalogue is obviously gold, not only because it shows us all the fun new things out, but it also gives us lots and lots of ideas of what we can do with different paper sets. So I use these as inspiration guides always, and I often come here first before I get creating myself. So when I flicked through this little book, I saw that we had 3 new ranges. We have got a beautiful one called Cosette, which is a little bit more French and whimsical, botanical I should say. And then we've got the more masculine Hey Handsome, which is going to work really well for you guys, your teenagers, and maybe some of those outdoor scenic ones. And then we've got this Hello Darling, which is a celebratory set. So the very first thing, of course, I did was put in a sheet from each of those ranges. So the mystery bag has included one of each of those sheets. They're double-sided, so you've got a little choice as to what of the papers you particularly like. Really cool texture there. And that is the starting point of the mystery bag. Then I had a little look at the mix-ins. Now, the mix-ins are absolute wonderful packs. They are a set of paper that is often a little bit more neutral, no theme to it, but in this case it's got a whole heap of texture, and I loved that. So the next thing I put together was a little sample of those different papers, and I'll put it, where is it, in this little pack, here it is, little sample. It's a 6 by 4 inch piece of each of the bits, and I'm going to show how I put that together into something. As you can see, there's a few other little extras popped inside there as well. Then I went and looked at some of the tools near the back of the books. We've got a whole heap of new stamps in here, some really fun little things to play with, and I particularly liked this saying. This one here is, be who you are, do what you love, go where your heart leads you. So I have popped in that stamp set for everybody as well. It's going to be a fabulous one for obviously card making. You can see an example of a card over here, some cards, but also really, really lovely as a sentiment on a scrapbook page. So it serves 2 purposes. And then I went through to some of the fun tools right at the back, and we have this brand new embossing folder with 2 stencils to make this amazing raised butterfly effect. So in the little pack, everybody has received one of those embossing folders with the stencils in there. So that's how I started putting this kit together. And then I thought, what can I do with these bits and pieces? And so I have created a whole array of ideas. And so in the mystery bag, they get these ideas, little photographs of the different ideas of things they can create with those products. So today I'm just going to run through the first product, and that is this fun butterfly stencils. So as I said, in the mystery bag, we had this fun stencil with the embossing folder, and I've actually tucked in a couple of sheets of cardstock, a white and a Seabrook, along with a little sentiment in here. And the reason for that is that we can create a fun couple of projects with this straight off the hat to get used to how to use the tool. Also included in the bag is one of our fabulous blending tools. We have just started coming out with those late last year, close to my heart branded, beautiful. It's a lot larger in size actually than mini, and it's beautiful soft bristles on there, so you can do really soft blending with it. So you've got that in your kit. So let's have a little look on your instructions. And in here, this is actually going to be project 5, sitting in the middle on the second page is the first things we're going to focus on. So what you do with your embossing folder and stencil set is first off decide if you're intending to create a card or intending to do some embellishing on a layout. Now I actually just went with the size of the embossing folder and had a play first. So I put my little piece of paper, I started with the white, popped it in between the two sleeves of the embossing folder with the word close to my heart up the top facing me. So I closed it in, made sure it was nice and straight, ran that through my embossing folder, and I have come out with a lovely embossed image here. I hope you can see it on camera. So that has given us that lovely embossing, which is the starting point, very first thing you might want to do. Now we can pretty up that embossing simply by using our stencils. Now I do recommend grabbing some masking tape. I actually forgot to pull any over, so I will go without and just take a little risk that I can keep it steady. But you should possibly put a bit of washi or masking tape on here so that the stencil doesn't do a big move on you. So I'm going to start off and grab my beautiful colour that we've got in our range, which is called Mulberry. And I've just got a blending tool that goes with that. This is a different style of blending tool, but obviously this one's going to work perfectly for you and it's lovely and soft. I will pull one of those in shortly. So I'm just going to grab a little bit of ink on here and I'm just going to gently go through the spots. Now you can choose if you want the whole thing to be embossed with the same colour or whether you're going to be a little bit selective and take just the big butterflies one colour and the smaller butterflies another colour. What I'm actually going to do is do a bit of blending here. So I'm starting off with the mulberry and then I'm going to pull in rosemary, which is a beautiful deeper shade of green, and I'll grab my rosemary blending brush. You can actually just have a blending brush for a colourway, so it's all your pinks, and just make sure that you clean it in between by wiping off onto another sheet and then grabbing a new green or a new colour that you want to go on it. So I'm just going to blend this together. I'm going to do a little bit of an overlap between the mulberry and this next colour, rosemary, and pull it up into some of these next butterflies. I absolutely love all these different greens we've got in our range at the moment. And I just thought it would be quite complimentary to have a slight pink going on as well. So I think that's about as much blending as I want to do with that one. And then I'm going to pull in one other colour. Let me find the brush. And this is the delightful Seabrook, which is just a very soft sort of tealy green. So let's just get that last butterfly sorted with a nice little soft little bit of blending. Mix the two together a little bit. As I say, having washi tape would help in this instance, but we're getting there and it's no biggie. So I have now got a really lovely graduated image. Doesn't that look beautiful? So I can stop at that point. That might be as far as I want to go with the embossing and the stenciling, or I can choose to pull in the second layer of the stencil, and this has got a lot of the detail. So I'm going to place this over the top, making sure that you've got the butterflies going the same way as the previous one. I'm going to place it over the top, and I'm going to go back over with my colours again, just having a little bit more concentrated colour in these different areas. So I'll just make sure that's a bit more better lined up and bring in a bit of that mulberry pattern. Not all the butterflies have got the detail with the second stencil. Some of the little butterflies don't. So that's that one done. Bring in rosemary. Here's my rosemary. Here we go. Finish off the pattern there with that one. Make sure I'm bringing in enough colour to really define it. And then I'm going to bring in my Seabrook for the final one. You can see how beautiful and how easy this comes together with the tool. The tool is delightful. It's a really good buy actually. It's not a hugely expensive tool in our catalogue range, and I can imagine it's going to be really popular. So it could be one that sells out a bit early. So there is our gradual look of a beautiful butterfly effect. At this point, I could pop that onto a slimline card. I could do a little bit of edging around the edges. In fact, I would recommend perhaps with this one, bringing in the rosemary. And I could do the edging with my blending brush and just doing little circles around the sides and just getting a touch of colour over the edges. Or I could swipe this and get a more harsh line, a nice defined line around the edges, just straight onto my ink pad. This way I'm just getting a nice soft effect with the rosemary, which you'll start to see coming through on the camera. I'm actually going a little bit rough now, so I'm going to come in a bit more on it, all of it. I have to go all the way around again. But it's just giving that nice softness so it doesn't just look like a harsh piece of white in the background. Let's just even that up all the way around. So the blending brushes, if you press a bit harder like I'm doing at the moment, you get a lot more colour. If you press really softly, you get a very light bit of colour. I'm just going through the whole lot, just getting a little hint of colour all the way through. So that there is a beautiful, beautiful array. It could now be placed on a scrapbook page. As I said, created into a card. It could become a part of an embellishment or a tag that you're going to use as a gift to someone. So have a little look at what I created with this. So first off, I did the simple effect with the white. In this case, when I was blending, I chose one colour for the main butterfly and then a couple of other colours. So I used Seabrook. I used, what's that one called again? Periwinkle. I had completely forgotten for a second. So we had Seabrook, Periwinkle, and then Mulberry on that one. And then I finished it off with a cute little, and I love using these, little tiny bitty sparkles in the middle of some of those little ones. So I just literally slide them off onto the spot that I want to have the little sparkle. Let's just put a couple on this to finish it off too, so you can see the same effect. There we go. There's a couple. I could have put more or have a bit less. And then I had this card that I created as well, which is using the Seabrook, but this time when I embossed it, I actually took out my sandpaper. So I'll show you how that, if you look, just go around. Sorry about the noise. But because we've got a white core to our cardstock, by sanding it, you're going to get a nice white outline. So that's how I created the effect there. And so all I simply needed to do with that one was go over with that second stencil, the one that's got the little bit of detail, and just pull in a slight bit of colour onto those butterflies. Now the last thing I did with it, just to show you a few ideas, is I actually pulled it onto a layout. So I've created a little layout with that bulk sheet from the Cossette range, and here, can you see, I've actually taken one of these pieces, sliced it in half, and had half at both sides of the layout. So that's another idea of how you can bring it into your layouts as well. A nice little textured element that just looks soft and beautiful on the side. So I hope you enjoyed seeing how you could use your new tool. I hope you have a little bit of a play and share on our Facebook page some of the creations you get to make with this new tool in your range. Thanks for watching.